Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to talk about how to settle land disputes with neighbors. Coming up. Hi, this is Ernesto from AttaBoyCowBoy, and on this channel we give you health and wealth tips to help you be successful. Now, today I want to talk about land disputes. I'm standing on this big empty lot here where we're about to start building. We're going to build a duplex here for some people that want this land developed. And I was talking to one of my coworkers about this, and she mentioned to me that she spent over $50,000 in a dispute with her neighbor. It all started when the neighbor built a new fence going along their property line, and she believes that he encroached on her property. He basically went over about a foot or two and took a big chunk of her land when he built the new fence. Now, she started disputing with them and escalated. So she hired a surveyor to come out to her property, and a property surveyor, someone that uses math and physics to map out the property lines of your lot. They basically use the longitude and latitude to find the exact points of where your property starts and finishes. So she was right. The neighbor had encroached on her property. He came over her property line. His argument was that that's where the original property line was 100 years ago. Remember, 100 years ago, they didn't have the advanced technology that we have now. So they did it incorrectly. They were off a couple of feet. They went to court, and I think eventually she ended up winning, but she lost $50,000 in trying to settle the dispute with the neighbor. So this is something you want to try to avoid with neighbors. It's going to come up. It's come up several times with us. In fact, it just happened earlier, about 2 months ago, where we had a neighbor building right next door, and they cut into our sewage line. They busted our sewage line. It was pouring out raw sewage all over the neighborhood. The city got involved. It was a big deal. And they basically did not want to fix it. They said that our sewage line was running through their property line. Now, this property was made in 1905. So obviously it wasn't something that we did on purpose. But the fact remains that it was running through their property line. So we didn't want to waste $50,000 trying to go to court and all that. We just talked to them, we worked it out, and we just repaired the sewage line, that's it. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because the sewage line was running underneath their property anyway. So it wasn't going to take away any of their land. It wasn't going to prevent them from building, anything like that. So once you have a surveyor come out to your property, in LA, they're running about $700 or $800. It can vary depending on where you live. But they came out, they put some pins, they call them tags. I'll show you some pictures of them. They look kind of like a washer. And depending on where you live, they'll put a piece of rebar through it, or a piece of wood, or a screw, or a nail, or something like that to hold it to the ground. And they'll put a wood stake, and they'll spray paint the ground, or they'll spray paint the stick, and they'll put like an orange tag on it. And that tells you where your property line is. Now, ours was done about a year ago on this lot, but then we lost track of it. It started raining. Then a bulldozer came to flatten out the land, and the guy that came to flatten out wasn't paying attention and knocked over all the wooden pegs that were sticking out. So we had a choice to either find those metal washers that are underground, usually about 6 inches, or pay your surveyor another $700 to come out. So our solution was we just got a metal detector. This cost about $70 on eBay. We looked at the map, and it told us generally where the points were at. We knew we were 5 feet in from the neighbor's property line and 15 feet in from the sidewalk. So we went to the general area. We started using this metal detector. We found a few old coins. We found some nails, some screws. After we got rid of all that, we were able to find the tags that the surveyors installed. So we had to dig down a couple of feet. I'm going to show you where we were digging here. That helped us immensely to help us figure out where exactly our property line was, so that when we start to build, we're not encroaching on one of our neighbors, and we don't get into legal problems. So again, it might seem like a lot of money, but $500 to $1,000 for a surveyor, a lot of times is a lot cheaper than having to go to court with your neighbor or having them building on your property or anything like that. In another case, we had an issue with a neighbor that wanted to build a fence on our property. We just called a surveyor, we split the cost. I think that one was about $600, and then I gave it to the neighbor. I had a copy, and we built the new fence along where it was supposed to be. So again, at the end of the day, all you want to do is avoid conflict with your neighbors. You don't want to get into any issues. So, okay, hope that helps. And if you have any questions, please comment below. Thank you.